Welcome everybody once again. Josh the Mosh in the pit. Sorry, little upset that I just realized that I made a new intro and we used the wrong one. So sorry about that. Numero dos.
What's up, everybody?
The new intro will be better fitting next week after we make our announcement at the end of the show.
Oh, I forgot. I was trying to pull up the comments. I wasn't even watching. So no worries.
So yeah, I messed up, but it'll fit more after we make our announcement at the end of the show. So y'all got to watch the whole show now. Whoever's
Stay
watching.
tuned to the end of this one. We got a good one lined up the whole time. Watch us all the way to the end.
It's going to be good. Yeah, so we're going to kind of carry on how we've been doing. We'll start off, women of the week, be ninjas. And then we'll talk some AEW. We're going to do some deathmatch talking.
Yep.
You got something to say about that?
A little
and
bit.
We'll do AEW, and then we'll be welcoming RYAN Davidson into the pit. So with no further ado, let's welcome in the Ninja.
What it do, y'all? How's it going, everybody?
Going good, man.
What's up, Brandon?
Ready for excited to see who caught your eye this week.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot that definitely caught my eye in the realm of women's wrestling. But one person in particular, based upon their return from the pandemic, is what led to Be Ninja's Woman of the Week for August the 6th of 2020. And that's going to go to the Pride Fighter herself, Miss Sonya Deville. The reason why I picked her, because one, I think she's indeed one of the secret gems that WWE has had, because coming from an MMA background and transitioning it into pro wrestling and getting that Hollywood buzz after being a part of the AfterBuzz podcast for the longest time, whether it's doing MMA and wrestling, and transitioning it into Toughen Up, where she accidentally came out as a lesbian, and after exposing herself and doing herself justice in Toughen Up, WWE later picked her up and had her be part of the roster, to where she was basically one of their legit MMA representatives, who easily has one of my favorite hashtags in regards of MMA, and that's put your hair up and square up. And for the time that she was in NXT, to where she even have a NXT Women's title match with one of my personal favorites, Ember Moon, and later got called up to the to Monday Night Raw with Mandy Rose and Paige, and that's where Absolution formed, and that friendship with Mandy Rose basically just intertwined from Toughen Up to today. Well, not much today, storyline wise, but we'll get to that. Yeah, Sonya was basically, I would say, more of the brawler of the two, because Mandy was obviously the pretty hot blonde who could still handle her own, because New York. But anyway, yeah, the reason why I picked her as my woman of the week, because for the past years, and after disintegrating herself from Mandy Rose, and after the ass whooping she gave Mandy after their return on SmackDown, and basically just pulling herself crazy, like she's taught to all the things she said Victoria back in the day. Hashtag Victoria for Hall of Fame. And she right there just solidifies that, hey, not only she could go in the ring, she not only presents herself as a star, but WWE needs to realize that they have a sleeping demographic that they really need to focus on in wrestling, and that's the LGBTQ community, because they're just as passionate as wrestling fans as is the Black communities, Hispanic communities, and all other communities out there. And if they care about their quality more than the quantity, then they really need to bank on the true representations that they have in their company. And Sonya being one of the true representatives for the LGBTQ, that is something that they really need to pigeonhole and let them know that, hey, this is not a gay wrestler. This is one of the best professional wrestlers you got in the roster in a sleeping gym who happens to be gay. And that is something any.
Uh-oh. There's Window Vista.
Oh, no. Windows Vista got Brandon.
Finally.
Anybody can.
Brandon, you there?
There
I'm
it
here
is.
now.
There we are.
Gotta upgrade that
See
Vista.
what happens when Josh uses Windows Vista. God damn it.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. But yeah, man, she's one of the top talents. I agree. I mean, great in the ring. Can't say enough about her. I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan of hers.
Mm-hmm.
That hair up, square up, like I freaking dig that the most.
Exactly. And if you saw SmackDown, and shout
No,
out
I
to
didn't.
Mandy Rose, because we know they're friends in real life, but as far as the storyline that they're doing, she goes above and beyond putting her friend over in regards of taking one for the team in regards of what Sonya can throw out there. And I'm still waiting for Sonya just to blossom in her own as a single star. And we're slowly getting there right now. And I feel it based upon what I'm hearing. They might transition something that hasn't been done in a while, not just in wrestling, but for the women in general. I'm smelling a hair versus hair match for SummerSlam between the two. Because if you saw in the fight, Sonya got some clippers and chopped off Mandy's hair. So that kind of symbolizes what could potentially happen. So, but that's speculation right there. But yeah, I'm happy to see Sonya blossom, Mandy too, as well, and realizes there's more talents out there in WWE outside of the horsewomen that are definitely legit stars.
Agree, man. Well, as always, man, every week you bring it. We learn more about that female wrestler of the week. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Wish I had my hair up and square up, but as you can tell,
none of us have anything to say about that.
Exactly. Look at all three of us.
Right? None of us. All right, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Peace.
That was awesome. Like I said, every time, man.
I love
a little bit more here and there. Just get to learn. I love to learn.
Yep, absolutely.
And with that being said, we'll move to a topic that I stay away from quite a bit. I would support any other possible way, but I just haven't figured out a way yet, other than having you talk about it on the show. That's about all I got. So we're gonna talk some deathmatch.
Hey man, I'm super excited. For those of y'all that don't know, it was IWA Mid-South King of the Deathmatch tournament this weekend, which basically for them is like a WrestleMania type show. I didn't have any pictures today. Unfortunately, Ian Rotten runs that promotion, so it runs a little bit slower pace than GCW does, so we didn't get any great photography yet out of that. But there were some great storylines coming out of there for us. Mainly the big one was what was going to happen now that some big names weren't going to show up. For example, we found out Devin Moore didn't make the flight to Mid-South for the King of the Death match. We don't really know why. I'm sure we do by now, but he didn't make it. So that kind of led us to our first interesting situation where Ian Rotten's nephew, JC Rotten, joined us. Basically, overall, tournament King of the Death match tournament was a great show. We had some newer names come in. I wanted to give a shout out specifically to a talent called Tristan Ramsey. He went up with Arrow Boy in what was it was a weird match. King of the Death match will put out a lot of very strange stipulations in their matches that are way more than death match. Specifically, this one was a death from above match. So there were 4 corners, and in each corner it was being held up by large light tubes. And as you broke those light tubes, the box that they were holding up would drop a weapon. It was an interesting concept. It didn't go over the best this particular match, but Arrow Boy and Tristan Ramsey went with it anyway. Arrow Boy came out with the win. It was a great match. But some bigger news out of that tournament was the return of John Wayne Murdoch to IWA Mid-South. And it's a long story. When John Wayne Murdoch was first coming up, he went to IWA Mid-South and got screwed by the then owner, who he thought was Ian Rotten, and he didn't go back for many years. And then he finally went back, and then Ian Rotten actually did screw him out of some money. So once again, he didn't go back for a very long time, but this time this tournament was different, and he returned. So there was a lot of big names. Night one was okay, a lot of good excitement, but we had some snags and stuff with the intermission. Night two was a blast. We had the finalists going into night two was Schlack, Ricky Shane Page, John Wayne Murdoch. Jimmy Lloyd had to sub in for Oren Veidt, who was gravely injured. Well, not gravely, but very injured in his match in night one, which we'll go back to. Eric Ryan, Jeff King, Dale Patrick's, and Aeroboy. It really came down to a banger between John Wayne Murdoch and Eric Ryan, where we all thought John Wayne Murdoch was going to go over, and Eric Ryan actually went over. It was a killer match, stellar performance all around. There was a ton of light bulbs broken, ton of different traps put out there. I would say it was one of the better King of the Death matches that I've seen. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen a lot of them. One thing I want to draw attention to is on night one, Oren Veidt and Jimmy Lloyd had a World Series of electrified light tubes match. Basically, these are bundles of light tubes that they actually rigged to be on. And so when a wrestler takes a hit with the tube, it is actively on. They turn these light tubes on. Yeah, it was pretty. It's supposed to be basically gimmicks, nothing huge. There's an added danger to it. Unfortunately, IWA was using some freakish light tubes this weekend. They were really hard to break. I've made the joke several times that they were made out of clay. Very, very strange. A lot of wrestlers were struggling to get them to break. This was a spot where that came into play, in that one of the light tube bundles, when it broke, it basically turned into a large sword, and it stabbed Oren Veidt. And it was one, you see a lot of stuff in death matches, but in this particular moment, you could tell something was wrong. Oren Veidt's a tough dude. Like he'll go in there and bang with the best of them. One of my favorites personally, but you could just tell from every angle that they watched it. Those light tubes didn't break right, and stabbed him right in the shoulder, stabbed him in the arm, and it was just rough. So even though he won, he didn't go on the second night. Right, he was too busy getting stitched up. But the real big wins out of the weekend were a lot of lower level guys got to really shine in this tournament. It was a great thing overall. And I was really happy to be able to connect with John Wayne Murdoch and myself. I'm going to shout myself out, add to my collection. I bought a John Wayne Murdoch shirt from that tournament. Numero uno is up at the Deathmatch Circus tomorrow. He's going to pick it up from him. I'm really excited about it. But that's why Juan's not with us tonight. He's actually on location getting footage and whatnot from Deathmatch Circus. So next week when we're on here, Juan will be with me. We'll have some good pictures and we'll have some better content. That's all for me, though. I really appreciate the time.
It's awesome, man. Like I said, that's just I'm hurting and cringing just you telling me about it. Like
it's a wild weekend. IWA Mid-South is a little bit harder than the others, and I don't think they meant anything by the light tubes. I think it was just one of those things that just lined up wrong. But we're wishing Oren Veidt a speedy recovery, and there's a lot of drama in this week's death match, so we'll have a ton of stuff for you next week.
Very, very cool. Sorry, I'm having some StreamYard difficulties. I'm not seeing the comments.
Yeah, we're running through the comments a little bit slow. Sorry if y'all are commenting and we don't see it. I've kind of, now that I'm not talking, I'll search the pages and see what's worth.
That's the last time I've seen go through, but I do see the viewing that people are watching. So usually those go hand in hand.
Yeah,
so,
if you guys have any questions or comments, you feel free to just hit me and Josh up personally as well if you want to bring anything in, but we'll work on it.
But with that said, let's just keep the show rolling because that's what we do. And we're going to talk about AEW coming up.
Yep.
Or just yesterday, but we're coming up to talk about it. So let's bring in one of our experts.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Melanie.
Hey. All right. So if you guys have not seen any of the AEW, here come the spoilers. It's been a long week of AEW. So it starts off in BTE with Matt Hardy saying that he's going to slow down the multiverse a little bit because it was meant for a large crowd. So he's going to stick to Matthew Hardy. That also tied into Dynamite when he hit the promo. And of course, we'll get to Dynamite in a second, but that ties into that. Scorpio Sky did a promo on Dark, and he's basically calling Cody out. for the TNT Championship, and that leads to Dynamite as well. So first things first, though, let's talk about the women's tag tournament that started Monday on YouTube. If you guys don't know, it's every Monday. Nightmare Sisters won over Mel and Penelope Ford, but I think the biggest shock was Tay Conti making her debut with Anna Jay of the Dark Order, and they fought Nyla Rose and Arian. Arian actually had a pretty decent showing. I was actually impressed. I was impressed. They did leave a little bit at the end for storyline, so we'll see what happens if Arian comes back and does something else or not. Okay, so then Dynamite once again started off with this big, huge melee. Dark Order wins over the Elite. Then we've got the Best Friends, Santana Ortiz feud still kind of bubbling and going along. Best Friends took it. They're setting something up for the future because Santana Ortiz basically beat the crap out of Sue's van, which is Trent's mom's van. Poor mom, poor minivan.
You didn't put her name on the hood.
I know. Dude, don't mess with the minivan. As someone who owns the minivan, don't mess with it.
I've owned one too, yeah. You respect the van.
Respect the van. I think the big thing of the night, though, even with the championship match going on at the end, I think the big thing was that Matt Hardy went out there, he did his promo, and of course, Sammy comes out and sneak attacks him. But in the course of all that, Matt Hardy took a chair shot to the head and got opened up the hard way. And I mean, it was bad. And it turns out it was 13 stitches. And, 13 stitches. But I love the fact that it's like he's back in the back and he's getting stitched up and he's cutting a promo talking about he's pissed off, he's concussed, he's tired, he's bleeding, but that Sammy's going to get his receipt. It's coming. And he went on Twitter and he went on Instagram, and he is building this up. And I think that's what makes him such a professional, is that he was already out there promoting this, and people were upset, people were mad. And it's like, dude, he builds something up so much already that people are like, screw Sammy, you know? And all it took was like a misplaced chair shot, and you could tell he put his arms up, but that the top of the chair just hit him perfectly. He deflected it, but it went up, hit his face, cut him open, and chair shots are what they are, chair shots.
It bled.
It's gonna happen, and yeah, he bled.
It was like nothing, and then puddle.
Yeah.
So fast.
And I know people were already on there, and they were already throwing comments like, "Oh, mud show shit," and I was like, "Come on, dude, really?" No, I don't think you know what a mud show is. I don't think, if you're using that term, you don't know the term.
Yeah,
because that was so far. That was far from it.
Far.
But it was good, and I'm still a fan of Sammy. I'm liking how Matt Hardy's being used. I want to see this whole direction with the whole slowing down the multiverse and focusing on Matthew Hardy. I want to know who Matthew Hardy is, because apparently we've never seen him. He's always had a persona, so he says he's cutting away all that. So I'm interested, because Matt Hardy has always been really good at reinventing himself, and I love it.
Hard to kill again? Was that what his shirt said?
Yeah, yeah, that was his shirt. Which was, he's been wearing these different shirts with different sayings on them. So it definitely fit for last night.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely fit. But I'm interested, he even threw a little nod to his brother, saying that he's had the freedom in AEW that his brother doesn't have somewhere else. So he's not happy the way his brother's being used either. So, so moving right along, we had Cody and the first showing of Matt Cardona, which is, they came out strong as a tag team. They went up against the two guys from the Dark Order, and they won. And at the end of the match, Cody's leaving the arena, going through the tunnel, and Scorpio Sky's there and just points at the belt. So we know that's, that's coming.
They announced it already next week, right?
Yeah. And I like it, because I think it's time Scorpio Sky gets, and I know Brad's like the best. I think they built him up. I think with this whole pandemic going on, he didn't lose steam, but I think he kind of got put to the back burner a little bit when they were trying to figure out what to do. But I think it's time that they've brought him back up, and it's time for him to go for that TNT title. And I don't know, I think this is going to be a really good match. This is going to be a bring down the house match, because they're going to put each other to it, especially Scorpio's guy. Yep. You know, he's got a lot to prove right now.
If it wasn't for Jericho and Cassidy next week, it should be the main event. But I'm pretty sure it'll be Jericho and Cassidy. But
yeah, I think so too.
The only way AEW does it might open the show. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, as long as it's not another 20-person melee, I think I would be okay with them opening the show, because those, I love them, but not every week, and not every week to open the show.
Yeah,
it gets a little bit too much, I think. And then okay, so then we have our surprise moderator, which was Bischoff, which was amazing. And I love when Tad was like, "The Bish is back." That made I popped for that. Yeah. It's so I'm such a cheap pop.
Same.
But he was a good moderator. He and Jericho back and forth at the end was great. And of course, Cassidy hit his promo, which was set up perfectly, because I mean, it's a guy who doesn't talk. How else are you going to set up a promo except by doing something like that? You know, it's a great way to do it. And also, you know, increase the feud a little bit.
The next global warming, like that was
my gosh,
perfect. And he nailed it. Yeah. Everything. It was so perfect.
And I like the fact that his cadence just doesn't change. He's just like, "Hey, Chris, shut up." I mean, it's real, you know, he goes high and low, but is pretty still the same level. He's so good at staying in character, which is great.
Yeah, and at the end, whenever he was talking about how he was kind of going to care next week and whatever, like he kind of built up a little bit, but
yeah, but he tries to keep it pretty even. Yeah, it's so good.
And Jericho does a great job too. Like he's getting kind of, because everybody loves Orange Cassidy, but I mean, I think Jericho's doing a lot and getting a lot.
Yeah, you know, but I gotta give respect to Jericho too.
He's deserving.
Yeah, he is. And I gotta give him props because of the fact that, you know, as a guy who's been in the business, you know, so many years, and he makes comment to that, but he shouldn't, you know, some guys wouldn't take orange juice being dropped on you. Wouldn't take some of the bumps and the hits and the pratfalls, I guess you want to call them. They wouldn't take them, and he does it with such grace, you know, and he goes into it and he does stuff like, "Hey, Sammy, tell me in Spanish what it is." And he's like, "That's right." And like, it's so simple, but it's such a cheap laugh, and I love it. Yeah. You know, it's good. So then we go into, you know, Dr. Britt Baker picking a match for Big Swole to get into the tournament. And it was exactly what we thought. It was Reba, aka Rebel. You know, Rebel's supposed to go out there and she's supposed to look like a newbie. So she kind of bumped into the ring trying to get in. But I think, and then of course, Taz makes kind of the mistake where saying, she's been in hundreds of matches, when she was supposed to look like a newbie. Like she'd never been in there before, which, you know, we'll let it slide, Taz, because it's Taz.
Yeah.
But I think Rebel played it so well that she hits Big Swole. She's like, "Oh my God, I hit her." So it was like really good. I loved it. That character is being set up, I think for bigger things, which I can't wait to see how it plays out, because I think that they're going to end up having her, end up being a hustler. Like she's supposed to be this newbie, and then all of a sudden she's going to turn around and be this character like just kicks ass. At least I hope so. So I'm waiting for it. I want her in the ring more. I really like Rebel a lot. So after Big Swole's win over Reba, we get Moxley and Darby. That was another, you know, they put their all into that match. You know, one of those holds that Darby was in at the end. I forget what it's called, like the foot-toe hold. I can't think what it's called. I mean, Darby just gives him the middle fingers, and he's like, "What the hell do I have to do to get this guy to tap?" And Darby just gives him the straight middle fingers, which was a great way to say, "Nope, you're not going to make me." So he literally chokes him out. They call the match, and that's the way it ends, which was perfect to me. because I don't see Darby getting the 3 count or submitting to Moxley. So him actually choking him out, putting him to sleep was a great ending to it. And it still kind of leaves it open a little bit to where he wants a rematch or if he wants to come back, because technically, he didn't make him tap. So that is AEW in a nutshell, guys.
And then next week will be another round of the women's tag team tournament.
Yep, on Monday, YouTube. I'm waiting for it.
And then, well, of course, like we said, Cassidy versus Le Champion.
Yep.
Who's your pick to win the women's tournament, Melanie?
Oh my God, Tay and Jay so far. Tay Conti and Anna Jay. I mean, they looked like they'd been a team for a while. They worked so well together. It was amazing. It looked like they were like either they've been training together for, since they announced it or something, because they were fluid. And Tay looked like she never missed a beat in the ring. I mean, I don't think I saw that from her when she was somewhere else. I liked that she left the dojo gimmick behind and she's in this new gear. And I don't know, I felt like she was a little bit more confident in the ring. I was digging it. I liked them a lot so far. I really like them.
All the teams haven't been announced yet, right?
No, we're still waiting. But so far, Tay and Jay is what they're calling themselves. They're my pick so far. I like them.
Cool. And then we got Scorpio and Cody next week.
Mm-hmm. And everything's leading up to All Out in September. I believe it's September 5th. So everything's leading up to All Out, which is going to be another banger because, they're setting up all these matches. Moxley, MJF is going to be, I think it's going to end up bringing down the house because he's just cutting promo for it, and he's got the whole presidential-like campaign going into it. And he even had those signs around the ring.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that about the MJF little segments.
Yeah.
You got 3 minutes.
So MJF had MJF has been hitting his little presidential segments, and I love it. He's hitting all the little buttons to make you upset, like telling his female assistant, smile or get out, or he's telling people, is that sign straight? You need to fix that sign. Just little things to put himself over and just make you hate him, which he's so good at.
It's horrible. You're fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's such a talker, but now I'm ready to see him in the ring though, because it's been a while since he's been in there, so I'm ready to see him in a championship match with Moxley. I think it's going to be great. He even interfered in the match against Moxley and Darby to try to get Darby to win so he could be up against him, but didn't work. Yeah. So I'm excited. Lots of stuff going on AEW, and it all ties in together. So if you don't watch Being the Elite, watch Being the Elite. The women's tournament's on YouTube. So is Being the Elite. AEW Dark's on YouTube on Tuesdays. So everything kind of ties in together, which is great. So it's not like isolated. It's not isolated storylines.
AEW has a ton of exposure. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. I think somebody said that Scorpio needs more TV time. I think so too, and I think that this is going to help him break into the
I got a feeling that there's something going on with SCU. They have not seemed as involved in each other as they have in the last few years, and it's just all of a sudden it's just not a thing. So I was really actually happy to see Scorpio get that promo because I was feeling like he's going to get drugged down by that faction just simply not being on television.
Yeah, I agree too. I think Scorpio Sky, once he hit his own, he got his own theme music. I think that was it. That was going to be the beginning of his singles run, which he totally deserves. And then somebody asked about AEW's women's division. I think the division right now is kind of fractured because of the fact that half their roster is overseas, either Australia, New Zealand, Britain, Japan. They're really fractured. People went home, got stuck overseas, and they can't travel back. But I love all the women that they've been bringing in so far. Like Abaddon is great. she adds a different element to it. I don't know if Tay Conti is going to stay or not, but I like her in there. You know, all the women, especially like on Dark, and they've been transitioning them to the not the majors, but on Dynamite. Like, if you don't know who Kylan King is, oh my gosh, she is really good. She's mostly wrestled out of Florida, but now she's getting TV exposure. So check out Kylan. Of course, we saw Christy Janes on there. Rashay Chanel was on there. I mean, they're doing the best they can with who they have here. But I love the fact that they're bringing in a lot of the indie wrestlers. I just wish they would branch out a little bit more. And also Skylar Moore, guys. If you don't know who Skylar Moore is, she was on Dark. She is pretty good. Kenzie Page, same thing.
That's a good comment right there. And that might be Brian as well. I don't know if he didn't hit the link, so he's just a Facebook user. I know Brian was the one that asked about the division.
Yeah.
People talk bad about AEW's. I mean,
yeah, I won't talk bad about their division. They're doing their best, but they're also, you know, like I said, half of them are overseas, so they're doing the best with who they have here in town or here in the States.
But I mean, AEW in general, like, I mean, we got to remember, guys, they're not even a year into their TV show yet. It's like we're expecting to be
2 years to build a championship caliber team, and that's if everything goes exactly the way you wanted it to go.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair that wrestling should get that chance as well. I think anybody that's not going to get at least 1.5 to 3 years, if you're bashing them out of the gate, what's the point?
Yeah. Oh, and let's not forget how like 3 or 4 women in their roster are also injured.
Yeah.
So that's another, you know, another thing they didn't count on as well. So I think they're doing pretty good with who they have. And like I said, I love the fact that they're bringing in the indie women, because it does. I think that they're bringing in a lot of the indie women, and it shows how much talent is out there. You know, there's a lot of talented female wrestlers out there that need to have a chance, and it gets them exposure.
Yeah. So my deal. This is what I'll say. AEW has done really well to build a women's division, and the fan base has done really well to stand in their way. That's my closing comments on that.
Yeah, wrestling fans being wrestling fans. Like I said, nobody hates wrestling more than wrestling fans.
I hate wrestling.
It's just I can't say that enough because it's so sad. I mean, nobody hates wrestling as much as wrestling fans.
Very true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But thanks, Melanie. I got your name right.
Yes.
So we're doing better this week. Next week I'll get the intro right, and we'll be doing a show by next week. But thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate all the knowledge.
Dropping it down.
Super awesome. Like, you don't even have to watch AEW anymore, guys. Just tune in to the pit and you're gonna know all you need to know.
Very true.
Freaking killed it. We miss Clarissa though, so if hopefully she watches this later, she knows she's in her thoughts and when her back next week.
Can't wait.
Family stuff. So we await your triumphant return. So you ready? We don't have a NXT segment again, but it's all good because our guest is ready to jump into the pit. So let's bring in the man himself, Mr. Ryan Davidson. How are you today?
What's up? Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Hear you, everything.
Yeah, man, I'm sweating my ass off. I just got done trying to do rolls just as good as Gino inside the ring because he's running a class right now. And the best and most annoying thing about Gino is that he makes everything look so easy, and it's not. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. I know I'm a little sweaty. It's a little hot. Texas weather, obviously, as everyone knows. But I am happy to be on your broadcast, man. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, man. And we had Gino was on. Was it 2 weeks ago or was it last week?
2 or 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so Gino's been in the pit too, so
awesome, man. Very cool.
He makes everything look easy.
Always, like I said, the best and most annoying thing ever. I wish he would show a flaw every now and then. It'd make me feel better at times.
I mean, yeah, the hair. And by the way, I know we're not on the right subject, but that picture he posted finally back in the gym, like, if I didn't know that he could kick my ass, I would punch him in the throat.
Oh yeah. Hey man. Hey.
He's like freaking ripped.
Yeah, man. It gets no tougher, man. He puts in the work, man. I mean, it's a guy. It's a guy. You know, quick little thing on him, man, is that you can't really pull him out of the ring. You know what I mean? And he always, as good as he is, like, kind of has like that Michael Jordan mindset where it's like, you can always be better. So if you can always be better, then just go and put in the work. Right. And he's got that to a T, and it's literally in his genes since his dad, was in the business and everything. May he rest in peace and stuff like that, man. So, I mean, him just being a part of MLW and doing what he's done, man, it's just a start, man. So you guys better talk to him as much as you can, because he might be top choice one of these days, and might be hard to get a hold of him. So you might as well get him as many interviews as you can, man. He's great talent, good guy, man. So it's awesome. It's awesome to get in the ring with guys like that, man, because it keeps me young and it makes me better, man. And I'm always up for some competition for sure.
That's awesome, man. Well, enough about him.
Yeah, screw him. Yeah, I hope he hears me right now, because he's in the gym. Yeah.
All his accolades. He's already in the pit.
We had on the pit, would it? It wouldn't be the first argument we ever had on the pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. It is. So yeah, we'll go ahead and jump right into the interview, man.
What do you think, Ryan? How's quarantine life been for you, man?
So, I appreciate you asking. For the most part, I'll just say it's been interesting, to say at least. I think everybody on this planet can pretty much say it's been interesting, whether it's good or bad. But I'm blessed, man. I unfortunately had COVID-19 for a period of time, and I'm very grateful on the fact that it wasn't more lethal. The worst I felt was maybe for about a day or so, and then no sense of smell or taste for about a week, and that was it. I mean, I've talked to so many people, and so many people have reached out, which I'm so grateful for. And man, just like people like massive body aches, coughing up blood, ICU, things of that nature. And I have loved ones that work in the medical field, and they're doctors and nurses and things of that nature. And it's just, it's no joke, man, regardless of what these conspiracy theorists are telling you about the hospitals kind of being blocked up or not. It's a serious thing. And people need to take all the precautions that they can, regardless how they feel about the government. So the quicker we can get through this COVID crap, the better that we can get back to some live events, some more pro wrestling, more people making money. So it all starts with people actively coming together, putting their egos and stuff to the side and doing what's right, not just for the country, but just for being a decent human being. And let's get through this and move on with our life. But that's my 2 cents. But other than that, my quarantine has been fine, man, to say the least. It's been fine and dandy. I just miss wrestling just like anybody else, but it's slowly starting to come back into the fold, man. So better days are ahead for sure.
Do y'all really think that we're going to get to that, though? Like, my speculation the last month has probably been, like, at some point our plan will be to adapt this into our society, because, like, it's almost like America is just like, nah, we're just not going to take the path of masks and being nice to one another. Like,
well, I can tell you this. I'm a very proud American. I support the military and first responders and things of that nature, but I also support humankind. I do believe that no race should be put on a pedestal. I believe that all skin colors from all demographics all definitely matter. And if one falls or is getting shortcomings, then we need to support them. You know what I mean? And do the marches and do the things to let people know that we don't need to treat anybody unequal, regardless of what their skin color is, for sure. And I can tell you, as far as Americans go, we're very stubborn and we're very prideful and egotistical. And it's really not anyone's fault, because that's been woven into the fiber of being an American. We're the number one country. We're the best at this. We're the best at that. Nobody can kick our ass, blah, 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 blah. And it obviously shows when you have all these differences, because other countries that are, let's just say, a little more humble, to say the least, or kind of get the broader picture of things, as far as like, hey, nobody likes a pandemic, so let's just follow some rules and, shut this thing down for a little bit, and then we can all go back to our lives. And, it's no coincidence that countries like Japan and Switzerland, Spain, not Spain, Italy. Excuse me, but a couple other countries, they went through the worst of it. And now they're over the hill, so to speak, and they're getting better. But us, it's like a yo-yo. We're up and down and up and down and up and down. So I feel like wearing masks and things of that nature, especially over, I know in Japan they've been doing that for years. That's been more of a thing of just like respect for one another, to where it's like, hey, if I'm feeling cold or anything that comes out is to protect other people. And I feel like that's going to be a part of our society now. I feel like masks are going to be a common thing. It's not going to be something that is going to go away anytime soon, and nor should it. And things of that nature. And I feel like there's going to be a whole generation of people that are going to take a lot more awareness into hygiene, making sure things are more sanitized and things of that nature. And, it's really hard to tell, man, because it's all speculation, because equally this entire planet has no clue what the hell's going on. And, which is very interesting and scary at the same time. But the best thing that we can always do and always be consistent is show love to one another, not to get all hippie or anything, and protect one another, man. And I feel like if you're a true patriot, if you're a real American, you care about other Americans regardless. And that's basically the way I look at it. So there's my 2 cents.
I love it. Yeah. I actually really appreciate how outspoken you were the last few months about different things. Like, it was just nice to see someone take that stance, despite, there's been a lot of ostracizing people on social media for how they feel. So it is nice to see someone just like, hey, it's easy just to be kind to one another. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, man. And that's the other thing too. It's just as American to question everything as well. I'm not sitting there saying, don't question it, follow the rules, be sheep, this, that, whatever. But also at the same time, like, have some common sense to where, like, let's all face it, wearing a mask sucks. Like, especially if you work in it, work out in it, it sucks. It's hot. It's covering your face. It's already hot in Texas. It just makes it worse. You know what I mean? I get it. But also at the same time, I don't mind going through a little discomfort knowing that myself and other people are protected around me just by wearing it for a short amount of time. It's not like I have to sleep with it, take a shower with it, things of that nature. You know what I mean? And that's just one aspect. I mean, once again, like, as an American, you it's freedom, right? Which is the best thing. And you have the freedom to think what you want. And in some cases, unless you get canceled in cancel culture, you can kind of say what you want. Not really. But also at the end of the day, man, I feel like just some human decency. I think that just needs to be the focal point of just anyone, regardless of what your beliefs in. Just human decency, because I'm on team human being. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I'm just for humanity. So let's make sure no aliens come in and try and mess up anything, because apparently the Pentagon's got spaceships. So no one's talking about that. So
that would be this year. That would happen this year.
Of course.
2020.
Of course, why not? Yeah. Oh, by the way, we got UFOs. By the way, keep going. Make sure y'all vote in November. Yeah. See y'all later. Yeah.
Forget about that little thing in November that he doesn't want nobody. Anyway, we're not gonna. This isn't a political show.
So it's not. No, wrestling, pro wrestling. Yes, for sure.
Wrestling. Yeah. So speaking of wrestling, we kind of always hit the common question that you probably answered 1,000 times about wrestling, but we're trying to educate, the people that are watching live. But why wrestling?
Why wrestling? I rebuttal with why not wrestling? Why not wrestling? And pro wrestling. I caught y'all saying this right when I got on, and it's funny because I said it all the time too. But I always relate it to Star Wars, where like no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. Well, no one hate and love pro wrestling more than pro wrestling fans. But let me tell you something about pro wrestling. Pro wrestling in itself is one of the purest forms of entertainment and art that's out there. You know what I mean? And it's always up for debate. That's why it's always funny to me where it's like these top 10 best ofs, and people, it's a bait and hook, to where it's like, if they put this one guy or one woman as number one, no, that can't be. It's got to be so-and-so there, because everybody's perspective is different. You're never going to please everybody, right? I look at wrestling like ice cream. There's plenty of flavors. Which one tastes good to you? That's all it is. We can sit there and go back and forth, but as long as it's sweet to someone, it's sweet regardless. You know what I mean? So, but pro wrestling in itself, man, is a beautiful art. I love the physicality of it. Even though we're in a predetermined entertainment endeavor, it's very physical. The injuries and the physical punishment is very real. And I wouldn't have it any other way, man. And, as far as 2020 goes with this quarantine and everything, to where now pro wrestling's on life support, and there's only a few companies at a time that are actually doing anything and trying to make it work. There's also a lot of great that's coming out of this, to where we're pretty much looking behind the glass, so to speak, and seeing all the faults that pro wrestling has had over the years, where it comes to like the speaking out movement and, things of that nature, of just trying to treat people better in the business. And, all these horror stories that myself being in the business and other people that have, only heard of through shoot interviews, quote unquote, and other things, to where it's like pro wrestling needs to be better. And I feel like 2020, for all the crap that's been going on, it's getting better. These are necessary evils that we need to go through to make things better. Now, obviously, I would much rather none of these evils happen in the first place, but these are things that unfortunately have been woven into pro wrestling, just like inside, the embodiment of just mindset and just the way that talent feels like they need to be, treated, or how they have been treated, I should say. And some things are great and some things are completely wrong and they need to be changed. And I'm glad people are speaking up. I'm glad wrestling's evolving. And, pro wrestling in itself, man, like I said, it's a beautiful thing. And I feel like there's a lot more positives than negatives, but also your perspective matters. So if you look for the negative, that's what you'll get. But if you always look and strive for positive, then you can't fail. So there you go.
Yeah, that's the way to be, man.
Yeah.
Easier said than done sometimes, but you got to just try your best, and that's all we can ever do. You can be better, right?
Oh, completely, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, dude. There's moments just like with anyone. I know I get a good reputation of like being the positive-go-lucky guy. You know what I mean? And all this other stuff. But I'd be lying if I told you there weren't, days or even a week or so to where it's like I shut my phone off, I give a middle finger to the planet, and I don't want to hear from anybody. I hate everything and everyone, and that's okay because I'm a human being, and that feeling doesn't last forever. And right. I also know that, like there's more to life than pro wrestling. And one of my biggest goals besides, the fame and the titles and tournament wins and all this other crap, one of my biggest goals ever was to make pro wrestling better the way that I found it. And if that means I can be positive or tell someone while they're down in the dumps, like, hey, you can only control so much in this business or in life, like focus on what you can control on. If I can do that and hopefully make somebody better, then I have made pro wrestling better. And I strive to do that each and every day, man, little or small. And, it's just one of those things to where, yeah, I feel like if there's more collectively people doing that, then this business can just keep getting better and better. And it has, so, and the great competition out there too. So I'm just, I'll try to keep up and make my mark just like the rest of them. So that's basically all I could say about that.
And that's awesome. And that's what we need.
Yeah.
You got the Brett, sorry.
No, you're good. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, I love to ask this question, like you decided wrestling and you went for it. When you were deciding what type of wrestling you wanted to do, like what were your motivations? Like what style of wrestling did you choose and why? Like, why was that what you leaned toward?
Well, I can tell you this. I'm a fan of all wrestling. Like there's not just one style that I'm just like this and nothing else. I love everything. I love the comedy. I love lucha libre. I love strong style, Japanese wrestling, just very close to my heart. I love catch wrestling, just wrestling in general. Just I can go on and on about it. I can tell you, to answer your question, what I've always strived to be, and I tell people this, is that wrestle how you want to wrestle, but also the same thing, like don't play wrestle, like actually be a wrestler. Train like the people that you admire and you look up to. And I've always admired and looked up to main eventers. What's the match that everybody pays to see? Main eventers. How do main eventers wrestle? Like that's all I'm studying and paying attention to. Who's the main eventer? Well, it's this, and this. You know what I mean? You can go down the list of all the greats. And that's what I strive to do, regardless of where I'm at on the card. And, and be aware of my surroundings, like if I have a 6 or an 8 minute segment on the show, then I'm going to make that the best 6 to 8 minutes that I can and not overdo it, but not also underdo it as well. And, make sure that, if there's one thing that somebody can say when they leave was like, man, he was only in the ring for seemed like a few minutes, but God, I can't wait to come back and see Ryan again. You know what I mean? If somebody, whether that's, I can't wait to see him wrestle or I can't wait to tell him that he sucks. I don't care. I just want some attention from someone, you know what I mean? Because that shows me that I'm doing a good job. And as far as that goes, like I just try and just put myself in a position that I just strive to be in and everything that I feel like would be the most benefit for any company that I work for. And that's to, push people to the limit, see what they're about, let alone like also like pretty much help and be a benefit to the company. Like I'm not just a warm body, right. I've worked for companies where they'll just book me just cause it's just to be on the show or, oh, I know he's a good, good worker. So I'll give him this guy or girl and make them something. And that's great. I have no problem helping make anyone better. I take pride in it. I never look at it like, oh, this person can barely do this. I'm like, no, I'm going to show everyone how good I can make this person look, regardless if they really don't know what a headlock is. You know what I mean? Right. And I take a lot of pride in that. But also at the same time, business-wise too, is that I know I can work anyone in the world. Because guess what? I have. I've been around the world. Exactly. Okay. I am a world-class talent. Okay. Am I signed to a major company? No. Will I be? Absolutely. So
Yeah,
that's just one of the things. So with that being said, I say that with no cockiness or anything. That's just all confidence. But let me help you out by, if there's a company out there that wants to book me and wants to promote me, then by all means, let me have that opportunity to do so, because, you know, you can ask around for anybody that does business with me or whatever. I'm very easy to get along with. I'm inexpensive, but not inexpensive to where I screw myself over.
Right.
I know the business. I know how to get people over, and I just know what it takes to try and put on the best quality match that I can, or at least get the point across at the best I can. You know what I mean? And that's just the whole thing, because I collectively just want to make the show better. That's it.
Right.
It's not about just Ryan get his crap in. I just want to make any show that I'm a part of better. You know what I mean? And they're just plain and simple, because as an independent contractor, you know what I mean? It's just going around and just, you know, just showcasing my skills, to where if people come to this one company, like I'm definitely going to be one of the reasons why they come and watch it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I, once again, I don't say that egotistically. I just say that confidently, just because of the sole fact that I've been doing this for a while. I have a lot of evidence to show that I can back it up. There's a lot of men and women that agree the same way. And they know that when push comes to shove, I will go above all expectations to make our match as good as it possibly can, for the betterment of the match, not, you know, and the story. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people, you know, and I get it with social media, you got to gifts and tweets and get out there and get seen and this, that, whatever. Look, man, I'm all about relationships, and I'm all about knowing that if I do what feels right for me, that I won't fail and I'll never lose. If I'm in alignment with me, and that means I'm going to get this person over, I'm going to have the best match that I can with them, then that's what's good. You know, if I get 4,000 views, great. If I get 4 views, great. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Eventually those things will come, because I can't control that. I can only control what I can do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know I'm going on tangents, guys. So you guys got to
love it.
Reel me back in if you need to. So yeah.
No, man. No, this is the pit. That's how we roll, yo.
Yeah,
we do what we do.
Yeah. No, me personally, when you have somebody in and you're trying to interview someone that's like, yes, no, yes, that's how I would do it. You know, it's frustrating. I have a list of 1,000 questions, because I've had that happen a time or two. So you talk away. One of my questions that I was thinking of while you were talking, you know, you spoke a lot about, you know, how your image and how you want to help people and like who you want to be. With that being said, what are some of your favorite places to work? Like, what are some places you really feel like you get to be the best version of you?
You know, there's a lot of companies that I love to work for. And I mean, once again, with pro wrestling basically being on life support, there's only so many going on or doing something right now, right? And that's not their fault. Obviously, it's an unfortunate hand that we all got dealt with, unfortunately. But, you know, reality wrestling, it will always be my home. It doesn't matter where I go, where I end up, you know, go back to Japan, go here, go there, whatever gets out, whatever's in store for me, right? As long as I put in the work, it doesn't matter. Reality wrestling is always going to be my home. And, you know, that's the thing that I will always, regardless if I'm on shows or not, or if I'm across the country, I'm always going to make time for this place, because I take a lot of pride in it, to where I literally helped build this place, like paint walls, build walls, scrape, sweep, everything. So is Book, so is everyone else. You know what I mean? And I take a lot of pride in it, and I want to see what's best for it, not just for me, but just, well, like, I need people to carry the brand and carry it for, like, once, you know, years and years from now, when I'm, you know, my in-ring career is over, you know, reality wrestling still needs to be going strong, you know. So that's definitely one company. Wildcat Sports in New Orleans, with Luke Cox, man. I just did a podcast with good buddy Stevie Richards, man, and we talked for like 5-10 minutes just how great of a person Luke is, and I can't say enough great things about him, man. He motivates me every day. 39 years old, got the body of a 23-year-old, just jacked on movies. Got killed by Wolverine, beat up the Rock. Like, the sky's the limit for him, and his son too, Perry, PJ, man, great talent, and all those Wildcat guys, man. Buka Dow, Jay Spade, Matt Lancey, Danny Flamingo, Scott Phoenix, you know, Jace Valor, you know, all those guys are my guys, man. You know what I mean? You know, the Pump Patrol, all those guys. I love them to death. So Wildcat's a great locker room. I think it's by far the best wrestling Louisiana's ever had, and things of that nature. But there's also Hurricane Pro, Inspire Pro out of Austin. I really like Hurricane Pro out of Beaumont. They do a great show, good family-friendly show. They do great with crowds, and Title Match Network, they're amazing and everything. And you know, it's always a good time. And, you know, other companies too. Like, I really liked working for AAW when they came down to Texas and everything. And there were a few times I was supposed to go up to Chicago to wrestle for AAW in Chicago, but unfortunately, either I was caught up doing something with dates, or they didn't have an opening at that time. And then COVID happened, so who knows what's going to happen. But every time I've been there with the management from AAW out of Chicago, they've been great to me and everything like that. And then a couple other companies in Dallas, man, and San Antonio, and around Texas, Louisiana, some places. WCWA out in Fayetteville, Arkansas is a great organization. I love WCWA. And just a bunch of other organizations I've wrestled around the country and stuff. And of course, DDT is close to my heart in Japan, and, Alpha One out in Canada is, great promotion ran by Ethan Page. And, it just, those, I mean, they're all my favorites. I mean, there's some that are different reasons than others, but man, just anywhere that I can basically have a show. And as long as, I can provide value and get treated right as well, as long as I do my part, you're not going to hear any complaints out of me, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Question:
okay.
How hard are the mats in Japan?
So I'll be honest with you, man. It wasn't really the mats that were hard, but man, those ropes are unforgiving. They don't move. They don't move. They like it all. Like, let me stress that one more time. The ropes don't move. Wow. So they don't move. But it was the ring's great, and athletes there, man. Like everybody collectively just knows how to wrestle over there, and they take it with so much passion and so much respect. To the point to where they take respect into tearing down and setting up the ring, and us doing like a silent prayer after each training to pay respects, like, hey, thank you for us being safe and working hard together, and much respect to you and everything, like literally after every training session. Right. I can't say enough great things. I can't wait to go back in the future, man, and everything. But it was a step for me in the right direction. Definitely not something for me to hang my hat on, and I'm just looking for a lot more experiences, man. So, but yeah, Japan, fun, always a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna, before that, just bring up, because we're talking about how you bring value to a show and being down here in the corporate shows that you're a part of, and basically help introduce the tag team division. I mean, you that storyline, and it really brought some neat stuff. How you did the turn, and then that, and you know what I mean. I did all of it. You know what I mean.
Corpus Christi, man. Not a place that I've wrestled a lot for in the past,
just
man.
recently.
GCWA, man, and I apologize for not bringing them up, but a great promotion to work for. I've had a lot of fun there, and it was always fun getting in the ring with Nate Jolly and and Moonshine Mantell, and having some matches, and just seeing guys too, even before they got on big platforms, to where Sammy Guevara, I was there for his last match, before he full-time AEW. And I've known Sammy since he was like 17, man, and he's always been cool, just good dude. And, Ricky Starks too. I could tell you if I wasn't friends or know Ricky Starks or Moonshine Mantell, I would completely be fans of those guys. I just love their work. I feel like they're the best of the best. You know what I mean? And I mean, obviously there's the Genos and other people that are around, the Chandler Hopkins and guys and stuff like that that are phenomenal. Nobi Bryant's, and of course I can't forget about my reality wrestling guys. There's too many to name. Everybody knows I talk about them on my podcast and everything like that. But GCWA, man, I appreciate them for letting me take up some real estate on their roster and everything like that. And once again, just try and provide some value as best I can, and just do my part and try and make them some money, man, and get over, whatever the hell that means, get over, right? So
like, I was at every show, and I mean, I'm sure you remember. I mean, I was at every show, sitting there getting in your face pretty much every time you came out.
Dude, I mean, that's what I love, man. It's great. I know I probably kill my own gimmick, I guess, when I'm a love to be hated type of guy. And then when people talk to me, it's like, such a nice guy. And like, dude, that's just me, man. I don't need to hide it or put on a front. You know what I mean? When that red light's on, then I'll be the biggest dickhead you've ever seen. But when that red light's off, man, I'm just Ryan, man. Like I'm a human bleed. I'm a human being, and I bleed just like you do. So like, hey, let's just keep it going. You know what I mean?
I think that's the sign of a good talent, though. I mean, I can name 4 or 5 people off the top of my head that I would give the finger to and yell every cuss word as they walk to the ring. But after the show, it's like, great match. That was good fun. Richie's one, Dino's one. These are guys that we go hard at when the lights are on. But after the show, they're super nice to us. Dino came on a couple weeks ago, and it was one of my favorite episodes, just the way that he talked. And Juan showing him his dad's mask was a really cool moment. So I agree.
Yeah.
I think when someone says this is my gimmick here, but this is my job overall, this is my craft, I think there's more to perfecting your craft than just living the gimmick.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man. And everybody's story is different. You know, some people have to rely on the gimmicks and do other different things. That's why I don't knock anybody's style. Like I can always have an opinion and go, oh, well, that person doesn't need to do that or anything like that. And, you know, I have what I called, I stole it from a guy I really look up to outside of pro wrestling, but he calls it the dummy tax, you know, where it's basically another word for the mistakes you've made and lessons you've learned and stuff like that. And I got a lot of dummy tax, man. So like when I tell somebody and in the best way possible, because I'm not going to sit here and say like, I screwed up a lot of stuff. No, I just learned a lot, you know, and if there's something that I can see that could benefit a man or a woman inside pro wrestling, then, you know, if they ask for it, you know, I'll speak my mind. I try not to overstep regardless and be all like, come here, kid, let me show you the right way, you know, because there is no right way. It's the only way that just works. It's got to pass the smell test, as Booker likes to say, you know what I mean? So, and everybody, like I said, they got their own ways. So, you know, I just hope that my way, and I'm betting on my way, is going to get me to where I want to be in the future, man. And just if there's anyone else I can help along the way to get to their way, man, it's all about, you know, give and taking, man. So let's keep them good times going. You know what I mean?
And I know I already put this up, but I just wanted to make sure you saw that comment that Jeff putting you over a little more too. From GCW.
Hell yeah. Jeff better put me over. Yeah, Jeff. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. No, see, it's stuff. Hey, man, it's stuff like that. I had a conversation with a good buddy of mine that wrestles for Hurricane Pro, and he said some nice things. And you know, I told him on the conversation, I'm like, you know, it lets me know that, you know, as much as I'll get, because no one can talk more crap about myself than me. You know what I mean? And all that other stuff. And I could say all the things that I feel like I can do a lot better, I do wrong all the time. I must be doing some right for people to say great things about me without me trying to, you know, influence that in any way, man. I mean, just dude, like literally, like I'm just me, man, you know, and I just I'm not trying to put on a front or get brownie points or anything like that. I just golden rule. I didn't have the easiest childhood, so I just always want to, you know, be treated well, and I found the best way to do that is to treat people the way you like to be treated, man, and that's just stuck in my head, bro. So you know, it's the way I live life. So thank you, Jeff, for saying nice things. And keep that stuff going, man. Keep saying nice shit. I don't know if I can cuss, so I'm gonna refrain from cussing. So
we forgot to tell them. We forgot to. Everyone says that. I don't know if I can cuss. And
well, I'm trying to be more professional here, you know, because I mean, anyone knows me, it's like an F-bomb, like every other breath. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
In the pit, there's no rules.
Yeah, the pit, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm in the darkness and everything, so we don't give a fuck.
There it is. Right on. Right on.
But yeah, I guess we're ready to do our little gimmick that we're going to put over. So we call it the go home segment, where we rapid fire 20 questions. You get 5 seconds to answer.
Oh shit! Okay. See you later. First cuss word. Bang! Right there. There you go.
Bam.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we alternate. It'll be 10 from Brad, 10 from me. We alternate back and forth.
Cool.
And fix it. And this is our go home segment, man. But you know, thanks for everything, and let's go home.
Awesome.
All right, Ryan, you got 5 seconds to answer each question. They make no sense at all, so open your mind and be ready to answer on the draw.
Right
First
on, man.
question, what word do you absolutely hate?
I've been lit.
Lit. All right.
Is Batman? Is Batman?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just repeating myself. Okay, I'm fucking this whole game up for you. Just keep going. Go ahead.
Oh, good, man.
Yeah.
Is Batman a superhero or a rich dude with cool stuff?
Dude, he's a superhero. You shut your mouth.
No, I'm with you.
I'm just messing with you.
Well, he's my favorite superhero.
Is a turtle without his shell naked or homeless?
Dead.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Do you fold or scrunch toilet paper when you wipe?
Fold. I'm a gentleman, for crying out loud.
Exactly. I didn't even know you were going to pop out with that one. Okay.
No.
Do you believe the Loch Ness Monster is real?
Yes. Why not? If 2020 has shown us anything, why the hell not?
Right. He's probably having babies right now.
Absolutely.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Who do you think has a better chance of winning in a spelling bee? Daffy Duck or Donald Duck?
Daffy Duck.
Okay.
What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Dishes. Oh my God, dishes. Oh, the worst.
Do you eat dinner or do you eat supper?
Oh, dinner. Yeah, I don't say over Don Yonder either. Like I don't. Yeah, so yeah, dinner for sure.
All right.
Bath or shower?
Shower.
In your own personal hell, what song is playing on repeat for eternity?
Oh man, that Baby Shark bullshit. I don't know.
Thank you.
Whatever
You,
that's.
you fucked
whatever-
up in life if that's how you end up.
Yeah, that's the worst song ever. Yeah.
Do you store your cups right side up or upside down?
Oh man, good question. I gotta say, shit, I put them upside down, man. But I'll tell you this: probably in a month or so from now, for whatever reason, they'll probably go right side up. But as of right now, upside down.
It's a fluent situation. Cool.
Yeah.
How far in feet do you think you could throw a rock that weighed exactly 33 pounds?
That weighed exactly 33 pounds.
Mhm.
I could say I could throw that at least 10 feet,
All right.
which that's not that much. So I'll just say that. How do I have to throw it? One arm, or can I granny shot it, or
However
how
you
do I
want
throw
it. It's your 33-pound rock.
all right. Well, that fucking thing's going far. So yeah, there you go. I'll just say 10 feet just to be on the same side.
All right.
What can instantly change your mood?
Instantly change my mood. My physical state. From Tony Robbins, man. Change your physical state could totally change your mood for sure. So
Nice.
I'll answer that.
Who is the least valuable character on Full House?
Comet, the dog.
The dog.
I love the dog,
Nice,
but it's like,
nice
oh, just cute
answer.
plug in for this dog. It's like
Mhm.
okay, and it was too
Mhm.
obedient. Like I needed Comet to like fuck up some shit, like go
And
chew
he
on the
talked.
fence, take
He
a shit in
talked.
the living room. Yeah. Like he was the most perfect dog, like too perfect. Like get out of here, that doesn't exist. So just
Yep.
yeah. So Comet,
you-
that's what I'll say.
If you could grant a wish for someone other than yourself, what would it be and for who?
I would say for anyone that doesn't believe that they can do something, I wish them that they know from this moment forward that they're absolutely worthy of anything or anyone.
Nice.
That's what I would wish, because knowing that, all the money and shit and dreams and everything will take care of itself. I think one of my biggest things has been worthiness issues growing up. And I just want you to know that you're worthy, and want you to know that you can make this world a better place and put in the work to do so. Then anything you want can make happen, man. So that's my answer to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And the lottery doesn't hurt either. So, that's too. Yeah.
This is a pretty personal question. So,
Okay.
but I want an answer. Who chops the hardest in Texas?
Ooh. I'm gonna say it's gonna be it's a three-way tie.
Okay.
Three-way tie. Now hold on, let me ask you this. Is it current wrestlers, or is it just anyone ever in the history of just pro wrestling?
I want to know
this current.
your personal experience, not who you think, but people that chopped you. Who do you think chops the hardest in Texas?
All right. I'll tell you four. I know four off the top of my head. Booker T, Gino, Mysterious Q, Moonshine Mantell.
All right.
They'll chop the shit out of you. So yeah, throw in Ryan Davidson too. I throw a mean chop, baby. I throw a mean one.
I guess the two of those might be your answer. I legitimately guessed that you would either say Moonshine or Gino.
Those are my two.
But I can tell you Booker's hands, for being in the ring with Booker so much. His hands weigh like 50 pounds each, and he will make you choose a different religion. He'll chop you so hard, and and that's just Book. You know what I mean? And Q too. Q, great talent. He throws good chops as well. So any of those guys, those are my picks.
Yeah, when I shook Booker's hand, I could tell when it was super huge when I met him on the cruise. Who considers you a villain in their story?
A villain in my story, just pro wrestling wise?
No.
Oh, in their story.
Who considers you a villain in their story? Just curious.
Man, that's okay. I'll say I'll say whoever I'm in a feud against for whatever wrestling promotion. So maybe an answer would be like Brian Keith right now for Reality Wrestling. I guess
that's coming up Saturday.
I'm his villain. Yeah, Saturday, drive-through wrestling. I'm all about it, man. It's fun.
My last question is, who do you think likes roller coasters more, Booker T or Stevie Ray?
Oh, Booker. Easily. Stevie will no sell it. Book will just get in the moment, man, and he'll just be like, and just have a good time. He's great, man. He's a ham, dude. He's goofy as hell, man. So all about it. Once he gets out of his shell, trust me, he's just like a big kid, man. So easily Book.
I love that that's the third Booker T impression we've had from his students on this show.
Oh, man,
I love it.
we love Book. We love Book. It's just sometimes I have to catch myself to where, like, if I mention something that he says, I try not to do his voice, like, in front of him. He'll give me one of those looks like that. I know nobody else can see it, but you guys can. He'll just look at me like that. I'll be like, oh, my bad, boss. It's all good, So, but yeah, Book, roller coaster, everything, you know what I mean?
And the final question, that's always the final question that I haven't liked an answer yet from anybody. Do pineapples go on pizza?
Fucking right they do. Absolutely they do.
Hey, I'm back. People.
Throw pineapples on that. Y'all got it, man. Y'all need to quit pineapple shaming, man. Y'all that goes on pizza. Totally. I have no idea why people don't like it. If you throw look, let me tell you something. You know what doesn't belong on pizza? Let me tell you what doesn't belong on pizza. Mushrooms, anchovies. Those don't belong on fucking pizza. All right? Mushrooms are a fungus. No, but everything else, absolutely. And pineapple, for sure, dude. Absolutely. I might have just lost some fans from saying that. I know, probably.
I'm going to be so sad when someone finally says no, because every week I win this one. So
yeah, it's weird, man. But you would think though, like more people, because you see it on social media all the time. You see all the memes and shit to where it's like people just like pineapple. Oh my god, bleh. And it's like it's not bad. Is it my go-to? No, but if somebody's like, "Yo, you want a slice of Hawaiian?" Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I do.
I can tell you the two things that I'll never eat, even if you couldn't pay me enough money to eat them, is tapioca pudding and Good and Plenty candy, like licorice. There's no way, not a chance. There's no way. So, but yeah, no pineapple on pizza for days.
Damn it! All right, well the soup goes over. We're done here.
Some fun questions, man. I appreciate you guys asking that. Those were fun, man. Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, we put that segment together about a month ago, and it seemed to be.
Oh yeah,
I enjoy it, even though until it ends, it sucks every time.
Cool, right on, man.
It's ended sucky for me every time, but anyway. Thank you so much, man. From all of us, I mean, Brad can speak for himself.
Yeah, I really appreciate having you on here. It was a pleasure talking with you, Ryan.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Guys, hopefully this won't be the only one, and I'll be coming back onto the pit in the future. And for anybody that's listening, follow me at RDBear, the letter R, the letter D, Bear, BEAR 57 on Twitter, Instagram. Ryan Davidson on Facebook. I got a YouTube channel that I barely use, but I got some new content coming soon. I got a podcast, myself, Leisure and Larry's podcast. I drop it every Friday. I got a solo episode coming out tomorrow that we air it. Thank you. And I got some more special guests. Chris Russo was my latest guest, good buddy of mine. It was a real good hit, but I got another guest that has been all over the place, and he's a household name, and I can't wait for that interview to drop. He's a good friend of mine, and many other guests, man, not just from pro wrestling, but all walks of life. So it's something that I have a passion in, and I just want to just give it. Will I be the next Joe Rogan? Who the fuck knows? But see what happens. $100 million on Spotify, you can't go wrong, right? But no, you guys give me a follow, give me a like, and everything, and I appreciate you guys bringing me on the pit, man. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, man. Be safe.
You guys too. Thank y'all.
What a great interview.
That dude's so freaking cool. I don't even think we had to even talk. He could just let him go.
So, the funny thing about Ryan is, like, that's really how I thought he would be, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
He was a heel. He was just like monster. Like I think I first saw him in Aspire a few years back, and it was just like, but then you talk to him at a merch table. It's like, oh, okay, cool. He's a good guy. I love it.
like I said, I mean, in Corpus, I mean, he came out, he started as a face, but then in that match, in the tournament, he turned heel. And, you know what I mean? And so then we're cussing him out and whatever. And then, like, I'm out, you know where I sit. So in his face as he comes out, and he's like, we're looking at each other, someone I can actually look eye level to, because, you know, whenever Richie forgets his high chair and he can't get up, you know what I mean? Like, someone to look eye to eye.
Yeah.
And awesome. But then, like I said, I've chatted with him and talked to him for months, and he's a great guy. I was so stoked. We wanted him in the pit. As soon as he's available, he came in the pit. That just shows how freaking awesome he is, man.
Very true.
Well, I think we had another
big news for us, Josh. I think Josh has some big news to share with everybody.
So as y'all know, there's a all-women's promotion that was launched by our dear friend, Thunder Rosa, who I speak of quite a bit. And where's the thing not popping up? User error, sorry. And they got a little show coming up called Hell Hath No Fury. And in the pit with Josh the Mosh is an official sponsor of Mission Pro Wrestling going forward.
That is awesome.
So we will be, with that being said, our guest next week, I wish I could zoom in here, but will be Maddie and Baby D. We're going to have them both in the pit.
2 guests in the pit next week.
And going forward till the showtime that's coming up, we will have, it's September 28th, I believe, or 18th. I think it's the 18th. I'm sorry.
I think it is 18th.
Sorry about that. We'll be promoting this show every week and try to have guests, talent from that show as guests every week going forward. So tune in, guys. Support Mission Pro Wrestling. They're doing a great thing. We love them here. Women wrestling is great. Thunder Rosa is great. She's a great person. Great ally. She helps out a lot.
She's always been really cool with us, and we've always had their back, and this is no different. And it's going to be a great show, and I'm super stoked that the pit is sponsoring it. I know that we've all talked about it behind the scenes, and the pit, the Moshers are going to be there. We're going to be raising hell, making noise, having the most safe, social distance fun that we can have at that show. So we really hope that everyone else has the same idea.
And with that being said, also tune in. We're working on making sure a pair of our listeners will be joining us. Our viewers, I should say. Listeners, viewers, they do both, right? Because
yeah.
But they're watching too because it's a show. We're going to work on possibly bringing 2 of them with us or getting some extra VIP passes. I believe they're all sold out, but I think we got 2 that we're going to be able to give away. So stay tuned. Tune in every week. Set your damn alarms. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your strangers, tell your enemies, tell her at the grocery store.
Tell anybody that can hear you.
Yeah, and if they don't like it, flip them off.
And go about your day. And then tell the next person.
And tell the next person. Join us in the pit. Appreciate y'all, as always. And we will see y'all next week.
Later, guys.
Peace.